Hello, I'm Bernadette Schwerd and I'm the Director at the Australian School of Copywriting. And today's topic is about how you can convert clients or prospects into clients more quickly. And it's a very simple technique and it's called the phone. You know that thing, the phone, that we all use for everything except actually speaking to people? So the reason I suggest this, I'm a bit of an old school chick. I grew up in the era of, analog. And part of the sales process was meeting people and talking to them. And we've kind of got out of that habit and we think that email will do it all for us or social. And it just won't. It might, but not as quickly. So what I'm suggesting is if a client emails you, or a prospect, I should say, or anyone emails you and they want something from you, they're inquiring about what you do or looking for a price, don't just email them back, okay? Ring them if they've got their phone number listed, because that connection you make serves multiple purposes. Firstly, it shows that you're interested and you're enthusiastic, which is always good and not always an assumed thing. Secondly, you get to hear the person. You get to hear their voice. You get to understand, well, who are they? Are they the decision maker? Are they the owner? What role are they playing in this purchase decision? The next thing that's important is you actually get to ask them some questions about their business. Let's say they want a copywriting quote. Most times people don't really know what they want until they've had a bit of a chat with the copywriter. And that's what you can do in that phone call, is actually take a mini brief and get a really good understanding of that client's business. And so by the end of that short conversation, it might even just be 10 minutes, you've got a much better idea of what they want. Not only do they feel better about that because they've built that rapport with you, but you can then quote them more accurately because you've been able to get a really good sense of what they need. So for all those reasons, having that conversation is really important. And you're more likely to get that client to say yes in the moment than if you were to email it back and forth, and they don't know you, they've never talked to you. And the other beauty of actually speaking to a client or a prospect is that they get to understand your value. So if you ask them some really good questions that they haven't thought about, which is not that hard, from a copywriter's perspective, the briefing document really gives you all those questions to ask. It really is thought-provoking for that client. And they're thinking, never thought of that. It's a good question. So you start to demonstrate your value just by asking good questions. And by the end of the conversation, what you can do is actually pitch them a fee for the work and call it ballpark. You're not quite sure if that's accurate yet, but that's a gauge. And then you can tell from their response if that's going to hit the mark or whether it's too little or too much, or, too little or too much. Yeah, too little or too much. And then you can actually ask for the order. You can say, are we in the right ballpark there? And they go, yeah, I think so. I said, well, what if I made it this price? Would that help you commit right now? And they go, yeah. And they say, no. Well, then you say, well, what price do you feel comfortable with? And they tell you a price and the dance goes on. If you're interested in pricing and actually how to price your services and communicate value, please go to copyschool.com and there's a great download there called the Copywriter's Rate Card, and it talks about all this sort of stuff. But that's an aside. All I want to really get through to you today is if you get the chance, pick up the phone because you're more likely to get the job by building that rapport with the client. Okay? All the best.